Clerk's ready. Good evening. Today is Tuesday, December 2nd. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Lasky.
Here.
Mayor Sullivan.
Here.
Councilmember Keck.
Here.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Here.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Here.
City Manager.
Here.
City Attorney.
Here.
DPW Director.
Here.
Finance Director.
Here.
Community Development Director.
Here.
Police Chief.
Here.
Fire Chief.
Here.
City Engineer.
Here.
Roll call complete.
Thank you. Citizens comment, public hearings, we have none. Citizens comment on agenda-related items. Any citizen with correspondence to be distributed to council should provide items to the city clerk prior to the start of the meeting or after the meeting has adjourned, limited to 5 minutes. Is there any public? Consent agenda. All items marked with an asterisk are considered by the city manager to be routine matters. Prior to approval, any member of council may have an item removed and taken up during the regular portion of the meeting. Items include approval of minutes, cash balances, payroll, revenue and expenses, invoices, balance sheet, consideration of TJ's block party, and concert. At this time, council could take action to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. We have a presentation by Ken Talsma of Anderson Tackman on the June 30th, 2025 audit.
Yes, and press the down to advance. Yes. Yes, it should be in there.
Thanks for having me here to present the 2025
I guess
financial
it's not
audit.
in there. Oh, you didn't get the slides? Oh,
Oh, I sent them. I brought some hard copies too.
okay.
We have the booklet in the packet, so you can do.
Oh, they can take this one too, if they need it.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you need an extra?
Thank you.
Yep, I've got one here. that you can
That was the, okay.
grab it.
That's the. Yeah, we'll fix that. Yeah.
So I'm the partner in charge of the audit team with Anderson Tackman. I did the financial audit for the city for 2025. With an audit of the financial information, we do tons of testing and examining and reviewing of evidential matter to kind of back up the financial statements that are prepared annually. Also looking at the different systems of internal controls, making sure all the checks and balances are working, all the different procedures and policies are being followed, different approvals, double checks, reports are matched, cross-matched, and all these things to make sure that the report is done and complete and accurate, can be relied upon. And some of the things we do are confirming with the banks you do business with, all the bank accounts with every bank, all the different debts. We'll confirm a lot of revenue with the state of Michigan. We'll get a lot of agreements, invoices, payable information, compare a lot of things, actual results to budget, to last year, kind of looking at things that change so they make sense. As we do other cities in the state of Michigan, also we'll kind of look at, make sure certain relationships make sense. Because usually even in different cities and different parts of the state will still deal with some of the same issues, the same things. So at the end of all this different work, we give our opinion on the financial statements, and we always say there's 4 kinds, and I'm on the first page of the audit report itself, independent auditor's report. So this is the the meat and potatoes of the audit, or the point in the end. There's a adverse opinion when the information doesn't support, or the evidence doesn't support the financial information, it can't be reconciled, so that's the bad one. Then there's a disclaimer when there isn't information, which is pretty rare, because usually you know whether things are right or wrong. And there's a modified, which means everything's, or most things are fine, but maybe a certain areas is not okay, like maybe the pension information isn't done up to the level it should be, or depreciation isn't, or something like that, but everything else, cash, receivables, debt, fund balance is fine. And then the last one is the unmodified, or what they call the clean opinion, and that's what the city got for 25 is the unmodified opinion. And that's what you hope to get, that's what you got for 25. The next thing we'll look at, I've handed out the graphs to kind of show the financial highlights. And as we usually look at, like I said, compare things this year to last year, see what's changed. The first graph kind of shows all the usual assets of the city. You've got about 3.6 million in cash unrestricted, but 1.6 in restricted, usually restricted for debt covenants by the USDA. Your investments at 4.4 unrestricted and 15 million restricted, which is an oil and gas fund. Your receivables landed at about 2.4 million, due from governments 359,000. Prepaid inventory 129. Capital assets stayed at about 62,000, which you did have quite a increase in actual additions during the year, but then that's decreased by depreciation on those assets. But as this graph shows, a lot of the stuff of the city is in these different capital assets, like infrastructure, buildings, equipment, police cars, all the things that gives services to the citizens. So that's one of its biggest areas. And then last is deferred outflows, which relates to the pension obligation, which I'll talk about later. The second graph end shows all the obligations of the city. What's payables, like to the vendors of the city, deposits, usually things people prepay, accrued liabilities for payroll, things like that, interest. The net pension liability went from about 8.6 to 9 million, which is a requirement by the National Accounting Standards body, the GASB, that be recorded and put in the financial information. You're still at the 67% funded, I believe, which is good. The state's rule of thumb is if you get below 60, they get concerned, and they usually will have you do like a monitoring plan and kind of keep track of it more. But that is, it's you're stayed at 67, which I think is the same as last year. So that's good. You're holding your obligation to a pretty fair level, which is pretty close to what most municipalities kind of run as far as how funded they are too. You have your lease liability, your notes payable, bonds. I think we had no new debt except for a truck for a couple $100,000. So as the only new debt issued, and otherwise just existing was paid down. So debt went down almost 35 million, about 33 million. So we caught up paying debt for this year. Best employee benefits stayed pretty level, 409,000. That's sick and vacation time employees get when they leave employment. Also, there was a change in that this year. Now we not only have to keep track of what they are getting paid up upon they leave, also have to keep track of what they've earned, and they can use as just pure time too. So that's a part of the liability. And there were some changes from the GASB on that, which is national, and the state also had some changes for mandating sick and vacation time too. So a couple changes for sick and vacation time in that area this year. Then deferred inflows, which the deferred inflows and then deferred outflows, which are on the assets, relate to the pension liability. Those are changes to the pension liability that they feel aren't like an instant effect or change to it. They are amortized over a period, usually the service life of the people in the plan, and can reduce it or increase it that way over time. So they're held in these asset and liability accounts and written off against the liability over the service life. So that's why they kind of increase and decrease and change for all the different changes to the pension liability, like changes in assumptions, interest rates, rate of return, all these different things. So that's why those exist. And the third graph in shows the equity or net position of the entire city. Again, one of the largest areas is capital assets, so we have a large piece of it called net investment capital assets, went from about 26 million to 28. You have a large part that's restricted, that went from 16 million to 17.7 million, and restricted means anytime you have residual monies for the different things like for millages, grants, different funds that are required by law or whatever, or legislation, anything left at the end of the operating year for those got to be put in that bucket and kept for that particular purpose moving forward. It can't be used for general operations. It's kind of like it's earmarked and must remain for that purpose, like the street funds, for example. That's got to be kept and kept using for streets. And then what's left is the unrestricted, which we did have a decrease this year, going from 500,000 to negative 454,000. And because of things like the pension liability, you're kind of in the same boat as a lot of cities, except theirs usually are quite a bit worse, because they could also have the OPEB or retirement health care liability too. Because they have those big liabilities and no offsetting assets, that puts the net position to the negative. So the next graph shows the government funds, general and special funds, and its revenues. Overall, the revenues are staying pretty consistent. The taxes landed at 4.7. Seems like values have been pretty strong, especially here on the west side of the state. They always stay pretty well, pretty healthy. On the other areas too, like licenses, permits, state, sources, local, the charges for services, which are kind of a direct revenues for different activities. All staying pretty consistent. Investment earnings did go down a bit from last year. You had about 1.9 million and about 1.5 this year. A lot of that comes from the oil and gas fund and those earnings. So otherwise, the revenues were pretty consistent. Next page shows the expenditures, and the state makes us put all the expenses into what they call government functions. And there's general government, which is the treasurer, clerk, like building operations, elections, a lot of general functions of the city. Together, that's about 1.9 million of the pie. Public safety, 3 million, which is like police, can be fire, some other things. Public works, your DPW, economic development, rec and culture, capital outlay, which increased quite a bit this year from about almost $1 million to about almost 3 million. So again, a lot of different capital things purchased for the city in 2025 and then will be depreciated. And then debt service stayed pretty comparable, landing at about 457,000. The sixth graph shows fund balance with the general fund. This is always an important kind of measurement of like the health of the city. You had a little bit of a decrease to 2,296,000. You're still about 29% of next year's budgeted expenditures and transfers out, so you're still in a pretty safe place. There's no rule or law or anything about how much fund balance you can have, what's too little, too much. The GFOA, which is like a national body of finance officers, came up with a rule of thumb of like 10 to 15% as a floor of next year's expenditures and transfers out. So they always thought that's a floor to not get below to stay in a healthy place. So like I said, you're still 29%, so you're still in a healthy place. You might get a letter from the state because you've had, I think again, you've had 3 years in a row where it's gone down, but I think usually your response just is that you're still in a healthy spot, and whatever else you guys have going on and budgeting will be sufficient. They don't really care for more than just a response of what's going on and what your long-term outlook is. Then on page 7, we kind of have a revenue graph of all the water and sewer funds combined, showing the charge for services, state grants, other revenue. The big thing that changed this year is we had I think a $303,000 insurance revenue in the water fund. I think that usually we don't have anything that big, but that's why other revenue went up so much for '25. But otherwise, just the operational revenue of the water and sewer stayed pretty healthy, landing at 5.1 million, and 5.6 for total revenues. Then the next two graphs show the expenditures of the water and sewer fund, showing personnel costs, salaries, budget, contract service, insurance, administration, supplies, communications. Then continuing on to the 9th page. Otherwise, everything's expenses are staying pretty comparable. Otherwise, we had a bit of increase in the supplies for '25, going up to $369,000. Otherwise, the expenses of the system stayed pretty comparable. So overall, I think still a pretty healthy year for the city. So, looking at the things, paying down the debt, keeping the pension liability at a manageable level. So their tax base, again, continues to stay pretty healthy. Different interest earnings for the oil and gas fund stays pretty solid. No new debt this year, just paying off existing. So I think as far as health, it looks pretty decent year for '25. Any questions?
No?
I have none. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I was add, my members of my team also had met with the audit committee and had more in-depth discussions too of like different comments and different things too. There's, I'm sure you're probably all aware of the results of that stuff too, but if there's ever any questions or anything additional you want to know about, don't hesitate to reach out or ask for clarification. Any time of the year, it's fine. We'll be around. Ed can get you in touch with us. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, consideration of the annual audit committee report. Audit committee is established by section 23 of the city council guidelines. The section spells out the duties and responsibilities of the committee as part of the responsibilities. The audit committee prepares a written report on how the committee discharged its duties and responsibilities. At this time, council will take action to accept the annual report of the city audit committee. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on this? Claire, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of authorizing reimbursement payment for Lakeshore Keepers 4-year lease agreement for a total of $46,250 paid over 4 years. On January 21st, 2025, the city and Lakeshore Keepers, formerly SPLCA, entered into a 5-year concession agreement. Section 6 of this agreement governs the city volunteer payment obligations as permitted under the agreement. The concessionaire has requested that the city consider authorizing funding for a 4-year lease agreement so the lease terms aligns with the remaining term of their concession agreement. The concessionaire provided several quotes and justification for requesting the volunteer payment associated with this lease through SSTEN Properties LLC. At this time, council could take action to authorize a reimbursement payment for the Lakeshore Keepers 4-year lease agreement for a total of $46,250 to be paid over 4 years. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
So I have a short presentation, and also Jack Greavy's here from Lakeshore Keepers. So I just want to give a quick background on the lighthouse and then kind of talk about how we got here today. This slide provides an overview of the development of the Manistee Lighthouse. Beginning in the 1950s, Manistee residents advocated for a navigational light to improve the safety at the harbor entrance. The present steel lighthouse was completed on the North Pier in 1927. Ownership of the Manistee North Pier Lighthouse transferred to the city in 2011, and the Manistee County Historical Museum entered into a concessionaire agreement to maintain the structure. The museum led fundraising and grant efforts that resulted in full exterior remediation and repainting in 2016. Although plans existed for interior repairs and public access, those improvements were not ultimately completed. In February 2024, the museum formally ended its concession agreement due to staffing changes, pandemic impacts, and concerns about long-term sustainability. After meeting with the Sable Point Lighthouse Keepers Association, now operating under the new assumed name Lakeshore Keepers, the museum recommended the city transition management of the lighthouse to a more specialized organization. Following the museum's recommendation, the city entered into a 5-year concession agreement with the Lakeshore Keepers on January 21st, 2025. This agreement outlines operational responsibilities, maintenance expectations, and the city's role in supporting volunteers who staff and maintain the lighthouse during the operating season. The Lakeshore Keepers operations relies on the Lighthouse Keepers House for visiting volunteers. We don't have that, so the city's budget obligated funds to help meet this obligation of providing housing. Lakeshore Keepers has requested, as the agreement permits, authorization for a multi-year 4-year lease to house their rotating volunteer crews. The preferred option, operated by Steen Properties, provides a 10-month lease for $12,500 annually with no escalation. This property meets their operational needs, and close proximity to downtown, which is both convenient and desirable for the visiting volunteers. This slide compares the cost in terms of available housing options. Steen Properties offers the lowest and most stable rate at $12,500 per year without seasonal or annual increases. The alternate property at 10th Street would cost significantly more, $14,400 annually the first year, and includes escalation to $15,300 the fourth year. Depending on whether the first year or last year is a full year, it would be over $50,000 over the 4 years. Each year, Lakeshore Keepers brings 54 to 72 volunteers to Manistee. During the 18-week operating season, these volunteers stay for a week or 2-week-long rotations, contributing to lighthouse operations and maintenance. Their presence will boost local visitation and increases public engagement with the lighthouse, creating cultural and economic benefits for the city. In addition, the Lakeshore Keepers are completing the remaining interior and public access repairs that weren't completed in 2016. The city's budget includes $15,000 for volunteer housing, which fully supports the proposed Steen lease. The commitment for the first season in 2026 would be for 7 months, so $8,750. Given the favorable cost, alignment with the concession term, and operational benefits, approval of the lease agreement is recommended to support continued stewardship of the Manistee North Pier Lighthouse. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions?
Got a couple. Where did you advertise for the RFPs for the rental house?
Yeah, so I went out and actually got estimates myself. I'm currently a renter in the city of Manistee. So I did reach out to the management services that I currently rent through, which is Manistee Property Rentals. And I did receive 3 locations that are fully furnished, that are comparable in size, but ultimately the location and the cost are prohibitive on those sites. I did receive an estimate for a location in Onekama, of course way too far away. We want them in town here. Place on 10th Street. That location was on the second level, shared walls, and no storage space. In order for us to operate a gift shop at the Manistee North Breakwater, we have to have storage space, and it has to be on a main floor. Asking our volunteers to move that merchandise daily, a wagon that they pull down the pier head daily, not feasible. Last location was over $18,000 a month, which is not feasible in our budget. I did go on to Airbnb and Vrbo earlier today, just to see generally what other facilities are going for. During the height of the season, I mean, they bring in over $7,000. Could, if they brought in that dollar amount every day during the height of the season, it's not manageable for that. So having a fully furnished site allows us to have a smooth transition to open up the location quickly, and that's our goal here, is to open it up by next season. So with the location proximity of this house on 2nd Street, we're within 2 miles from the lighthouse, which is well within our zone that we're looking for. It also gives our volunteers an opportunity to explore Manistee, which we also want as well. So we did reach out. I did look around. Ultimately, it was not physically posted anywhere, but we did reach out to management services locally to find out who could be what could be a suitable fit for us.
Okay, I always want to err on the side of transparency and people having the opportunity to bid, but.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'm curious, because it wasn't publicly posted, you just went after, did they even know what they were bidding on?
Yes, yeah, I was fully transparent with the location. I emailed from my work email, was fairly transparent on what we were looking for. Ultimately, they were not able to give me a lease agreement that was less than 12-month period of time. They wanted the full 12-month period. I talked to the management service and explained what our needs were. We do require at least a 3-bedroom house. A lot of our volunteers come in as single parties or maybe a couple. Ultimately, we need a variety of different living bed sizes, let's say, to accommodate our needs throughout the entire season. I was transparent to answer your question, yes, I was transparent with what we were looking for and what our needs were.
One other,
I'm not sure.
Jack, if the season is 18 weeks, what will we do with that house, that's 4 months and 2 weeks? And so if we're running it for 10 months, what do we do with it, the other?
Ultimately, it would be sitting empty for that time period. We would not be subleasing it out to generate any revenue. It would stay as is. That is positive for the organization overall, in my opinion. We will have things left there that we don't really want people that we don't know staying at their residence. I know the property owners are hoping to utilize that site during those 2 months that it is not underneath the agreement, but ultimately that's within the owners with the agreement that's laid out in front of us. That is something that we're okay with.
Is there any chance of reducing the number? The first year is less, but on the other years of reducing the number of months that we're paying rent?
That's something that can be discussed, but ultimately that's not a sole decision by me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, just in the contract, yeah, I know it's hard to
Yeah.
have a shorter lease, but there are teachers, there are people coming. I mean, supposedly we're looking for housing, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for housing myself, but
Yeah.
with this lease agreement that's in front of us today, we are coming in $13,750 under budget over the 4-year period, which is pretty significant. So even if we're not cutting back the months, we're still coming in significantly under that $15,000. It'd be $60,000 for a 4-year period. Math.
I guess one of my concerns is, we originally agreed to a 1-year, 15,000, and all of a sudden I'm looking at a 4-year lease. And when you think about it, this is really, we need to think ahead in the future. Hopefully we're gonna have some kind of lighthouse keepers there for 100 years, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we need to look at a long-term solution like a house. I mean, I don't know how it works with the Manistee Housing Commission, but there's homes on 5th Avenue, which would be, the city owns them. I think we need to explore that. Then you would never have to move out.
Yeah.
No disturbance. I really hate to settle into this when we really should be looking at something permanent for the group. And not that there's, the only thing I questioned in the lease itself is on page 181 of the packet, number 7, it says no landlord liability in place if place isn't ready. So I don't know if that's fair to you, your organization, because if it's not ready, you're gonna have to find another place to live. In the meantime, and it kind of messes, I would think you'd want them to be penalized somehow to cover the cost to house somebody, whoever comes to volunteer someplace else till the place is ready. So that was really the only thing I questioned
Yep.
in the
And-
contract.
So a couple of things. I think the purchasing a house, that clearly would be an increase. If the city were to purchase a house for this and furnish it and utilities, I think that would be much bigger burden than this, but that is something that could be considered at some point. But I think if I brought before council purchasing a house for the lighthouse keepers, that would be, we kind of looked at this more as we're sponsoring an organization like we do the AAY, 18,800 per year. We do the MRA, 30,000 per year. So it was more of an appropriation for activating the lighthouse. As far as the Housing Commission donating a house, I know there's HUD funds involved with that. They have a mission,
Right.
low income. I don't think that they would allow for 54 to 72 volunteers per year occupying it. But yeah, I think in terms of the amount, I think we discussed, could we lessen the months? And talking with the landlords, it was mainly, they've committed to this amount, no escalation. If we reduce the number of months, it would just be more per month. And it turns into flexibility about a yearly, a 6-month lease, and you really come down to, this is prime season too. It is the summer. So we were looking at a lot of different things, but
Well,
it's ultimately in section 6 of the concessionaire agreement, they're allowed to request a multi-year option, and that's really where this comes from, is council can consider, they can request and council consider the request for a multi-year option.
We would like our volunteers to become accustomed to the facility. That's, being comfortable with the facility means you're gonna come back annually. We do have volunteers that have volunteered for us for over 25 years, and they have come accustomed to a certain facility that they go to. Other locations, Big Solid Point Lighthouse, for instance, they do stay on site, on premise. There's no need for additional housing. We got extremely lucky with the Lighting to North Breakwater Light in that they stay at a old DNR Ranger station that was decommissioned.
Right.
And it was an empty building for the DNR, and the state of Michigan allowed us to do that. We do not have that opportunity here in Manistee. We have looked into free housing through the DNR, and that is not offered here at the state park. So we're kind of limited as far as what we're able to seek out, and we do require a no-cost.
but we do have an option that we haven't explored, is what I'm trying to say. You know, and we haven't tried it, so we really don't know. And we should explore it. You know, there's the apartments themselves. I mean, people are living there if there was a corner set aside for this group. Because, again, in 5 years, you know, you're gonna be looking where you're gonna rent again. Or this house could get sold, you know, in 3 years. Because this is a long term, 4 years. I don't know
What
anyone.
apartments are we talking about?
Like Harbor View and Century Terrace.
Well, they need a 3-bedroom, is what he said. They haven't.
Well, you may
Better.
need to have a section. It wouldn't necessarily be one. I'm just throwing ideas out. I got this, you know, I haven't had a lot of time to think
I
about
pay
it.
$13.75 for my 4-bedroom, right across the street from the Painted Lady. So non-walkable distance from downtown. That's what I pay. It has a 1-stall garage to it, and I pay more than this lease agreement monthly.
Have you been in this residence?
Yep.
What's,
A brand new facility, honestly. It was torn down to the studs during COVID and has been rebuilt since. So we're talking about a really inviting location. You know, stainless steel appliances, island, really nice, all new furnishing, new carpet space. It's a really fresh environment and a really clean environment.
so perfect location,
Yep.
perfect setup,
Yep.
perfect brand new facility, brand new, no-brainer. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Lainey, this gives us 4 years to look at other options and get really well informed and things change. So,
Yes.
and for right now, we're honoring this obligation. It's affordable. I feel great. I think a teacher would want a 12-year lease or 12-month lease, not a 10-month lease. So this is really helping fit that niche, and we are able to capture those savings. So thank you for doing that groundwork.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see that lighthouse open. It's
Yeah.
a very, very nice asset.
Yeah.
Jack, are you gonna try to find somebody else for those extra months that the house is sitting there?
Again, we wouldn't want to sublease for that. It's not in our lease agreement there. Are you talking about somebody else moving into the facility during the months that are occupied?
Yeah.
In our perfect world, we wouldn't have somebody staying there. We don't have somebody staying on a big sabble, for instance, as it ends up adding liability to us if we were to do that. So in order for them to be covered underneath our insurance for that location, we do have to take out renter's insurance. In order for them to have that, they have to be a member of our association. So they would have to be a member of our association to stay there.
And the owner of that property is responsible for the insurance and the upkeep and,
Of the structure, any damages that maybe happen, and accidents do happen, those minor things we would communicate with the landlord and have those repaired.
and this is handled by a rental company?
Yes, yep.
And didn't you just, maybe I missed it, state that the 2 months that you're not there, the owner will be able to use the property?
We'll be occupying the premises, yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Thought that's what you said already.
Anybody else? Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes,
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Raditz.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you, thank you. Consideration of zoning ordinance Z25-03 to conditionally rezone 555 First Street from R1 to C2 per the request of the Armory Youth Project located at 555 First Street. The Planning Commission held a public hearing to conditionally rezone the property for R1 to C2. During the August meeting, the Planning Commission recommends the conditionally rezone to council. As an ordinance, 2 separate readings are required. If this ordinance is introduced at this time, it could be adopted at the next regular meeting. At this time, council could take action to introduce zoning ordinance Z25-03 to conditionally rezone 555 First Street to R1 to C2. Is there a motion?
I'll make
make
that
a
motion.
motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
I guess I'm wondering about what is meant by the term historical. It's in there several times.
Previous.
Well, okay, like when it was an armory
Yep.
or
We have a.
just any historical?
So the grandfather clause for zoning, that's the legal term for anything that was allowed prior to that adopted ordinance is grandfathered as a historical use. Yes.
Could you give me some examples?
We're allowed to use the gym, for example. And we're
They-
allowed to use the kitchen, and we're allowed to use the stage. These rooms, the zoning letter, which Blake probably can say better than I can, but the zoning letter came in 2017 that allowed us to continue the use in those spaces.
Okay.
And
So-
the space that we're asking for is not in those spaces, which is why we're having to ask. But it is an adjacent space in the building that we're asking to have use of.
Okay. And then I was confused when in section 2B, conditions imposed. It's like the first sentence was in direct contradiction to the second sentence. So if you could clarify that for me?
Look at last, Blake, you want me to- it was-
Sure, yep, they're read in conjunction. So if we pull up the agreement,
Yeah.
you're referring to the conditional rezoning agreement?
Yes. And it was under, it's on page 210 of the whole packet.
Ken?
Number 210, okay.
Maybe I wrote down the wrong, yeah.
There it is.
Okay, so which item are you looking at?
2B. Well,
Scroll down.
yeah. I wonder why your pages are different than mine.
So at the end of section 2A, it says, "and limited as provided by subsection B below." So they're read in conjunction. So subsection B is a limitation on the uses provided by subsection A. We were very intentional to ensure that they could use the property for historical purposes, those uses permitted in the R1 zoning classification, and the uses public assembly small in the storage area only.
Okay. All right. Because I wasn't understanding that, but thank you. I'll be happy to finally put this to bed.
Anything else, anybody?
What about the outdoor use? That was kind of addressed in there too.
It was, the outdoor use, and again, Blake can support me, but the outdoor use is historically what we've been doing.
Okay,
And then Sundays only for the rental of that storage space by River of Life, Sundays only,
okay. Good.
and not outdoors,
Pardon me?
not outdoors.
Okay, that's all right.
Anybody else? Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raddatz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes,
Councilmember Rezga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of conditional rezoning agreement with the Armory Youth Project for 555 First Street. Per the request of the Armory Youth Project located at 555 First Street, the Planning Commission held a public hearing to conditionally rezone the property from R1 to C2 during its August meeting. The Planning Commission recommends the conditionally rezone to council. At this time, council could take to enter into a conditional rezoning agreement with the Armory Youth Project for 555 First Street and authorize the mayor and clerk to execute the document. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Is there a-
second.
okay. Any discussion on this one? Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raddatz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
yes,
Councilmember Rezga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Consideration of applications to boards and commissions. The city clerk has taken action to advertise vacancies on the boards Review Compensation Commission, Harbor Commission, Neighborhood Restoration and Beautification Commission, PEG Commission, Planning Commission, Tree Commission, and Zoning Board of Appeals. Mayor and manager appointments require motion, second, and council voted support. Nominations for council appointments do not require a second. After all nominations are made, council votes on the nominees until one nominee receives the majority support. Following applications have been received. The Harbor Commission, vacancy term ending 10/31/28. Purpose of this board is advisory on marina harbor development issues. This is a council appointment. James Courtwright, 1805 Surfside Drive. Planning Commission, one vacancy term ending 10/31/28. The purpose is reviews master plan, zoning, site plans, development issues based on the city's population. State laws allow the appointment of a non-elector to the Planning Commission mayoral appointment. We have Marty Spalding, non-elector, 354 First Street, Bob Slawinski, non-elector, 28 Third Street, East Lake, Dave Gramza, 290 4th Street, John Hanson, 387 11th Street. Tree Commission, two vacancies, term ending 12/31/28. The purpose to oversee the public park boulevards tree program, mayoral appointment, John Helge, 450 Cedar Street. At this time, the mayor and council could take action to make appointments as noted above. The Harbor Commission, council, is there a council nomination?
I will nominate James Cartwright, 1805 Surfside Drive, for the Harbor Commission vacancy ending 10/31/28.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raddatz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Cartwright.
Councilmember Lasky.
Courtwright.
Mayor Sullivan.
Courtwright.
Councilmember Keck.
Courtwright.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Courtwright,
Councilmember Rezga.
Courtwright.
Nomination approved.
Thank you. The Planning Commission, I would like to nominate Bob Slawinski, the non-elector, for 28 3rd Street, East Lake, for the term ending 10/31/28. And I just want to say that I'm only nominating Mr. Slawinski because he prematurely resigned due to us not knowing that we could have a non-elector on the Planning Commission. So if everybody else would like to keep their applications on file, I would appreciate that. Is there a motion for that?
I'll make that motion to appoint Slawinski, Planning Commission, vacancy ending 10/31/28.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Rezga.
Spalding. Or yes.
Just yes. Perfect. Thank you.
I thought it was Slawinski.
who are you voting?
Slawinski.
Slavinsky.
And you can just say yes on this
Yes.
one, yes or no. Councilmember Grabowski.
Forgot what I-
Levinsky,
Ready that time.
And you could say yes or no on this one.
okay,
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Raddatz.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Oh, I thought I wrote that wrong. Okay, the Tree Commission, I would like to appoint John Helge, 450 Cedar Street, to the term ending 12/31/28. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I second.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raddatz.
Is this a yes?
It is
or-
a yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes or
All
no?
of these.
Yes, for when it's a mayor and when there's a motion, it's a yes or no.
Okay, thank you. I feel so much better saying yes.
Okay. And Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes,
Councilmember Rezga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you.
You don't have to
Consideration of-
worry unless there's two names, so you're okay.
Consideration of authorizing a land replacement ad hoc committee in ordinance with section 13-6 of the city charter. Special committees may be appointed to make recommendations to city council. The purpose of the committee is to inventory available options, conduct internal revenue, consult with the MDNR to secure preliminary approval for the National Park Service, and ultimately recommend a suitable replacement property for the Percanos parcel to be permanently encumbered for public recreation. At this time, council could take action to authorize a land replacement ad hoc committee. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
If we didn't have an ad hoc committee, what would be done instead?
It would be a recommendation from staff. This is just formalizing the process and having a council representative being the mayor on this one, but does that make sense?
Anybody else?
Have a first and a second?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raddatz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan. Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
yes,
Councilmember Rezga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of removing a council member from the Parks Commission to comply with the CP10. In July 2025, City Council amended CP10 to include language limiting city council participation on boards and commissions to one member per board unless otherwise authorized by a statute or ordinance. This provision was added to preserve the independence of the city's boards and commissions who act as recommending bodies to the city council. I'm going to
Yep, if I could be recognized to interject. I'd just like to provide some of the legal background prior to council making any action on this item. The Parks Commission is created by ordinance, and that ordinance establishes a 3-year term, a definite term of office for a Parks Commission member. Under the Home Rule City Act, if an office is established for a definite term, a member of that board needs to be removed for cause. So it can't be just at the pleasure of council or for an arbitrary reason. It needs to be for cause of some kind. So in order to remove a Parks Commission member during their term, council would need to make findings of fact as to that cause. So I certainly don't recommend that the council act just to adopt a motion to remove somebody. You would need to make specific findings of fact on the record as to why that particular commission member should be removed from the Parks Commission, as well as provide them with notice and an opportunity to be heard. So you'd essentially need two subsequent meetings. So I guess I just wanted to provide that framework to help council make decisions with respect to this matter. You did adopt a council policy that basically states that only one sitting council member can sit on a board or commission. And it's my general recommendation to abide by your council policies.
Okay.
You're largely self-policing when it comes to your guidelines. You police yourselves when it comes to the guidelines you adopt. So it's always my recommendation to abide by the guidelines you adopt. That ensures that all parties are playing by the same rules. If you start to not follow your guidelines in some areas, how do you follow them in other areas? So it's my general suggestion to abide by your guidelines. But as far as a removal of an existing Parks Commission member, you would need to make findings as to cause. Happy to take any questions on that.
Okay, so you would suggest, we're not going to read this as a motion to remove anybody, but somebody can step down to follow council policy?
Well, you're free to act. All I do is make recommendations, but it is my recommendation that you don't act, just adopt a motion to remove somebody.
Okay.
And then can we enforce that after their term is completed? You said that in the middle of their term, we can't just remove.
Absent cause. So
Right.
you would just need to make findings of fact that there's cause to remove
Okay.
them. But you're not
But in
obligated to
lieu of
reappoint.
that, then after that term is complete, we can step in and say only one council member?
Correct.
Okay, so it's just the existing term that's
Correct.
in question?
Right,
Okay.
and that applies to other boards and commissions as well.
Okay.
In some instances, state law may set a higher bar, for example, planning commission members, but in this case, for your Parks Commission, you're going to need to make findings of fact as to cause.
Nobody else has anything?
You know, I think it's, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The council voted by majority that only one person should be on Parks Commission. So if we're self-policing, the right thing is for somebody to step down. And we're changing council policy 10 for different reasons for, audit committee. And then, which is not this particular instance, but audit committee, we're talking about putting somebody on for bargaining. I find it interesting, if not troubling, that we're willing to just follow some policies when it suits us. It doesn't seem very transparent. It doesn't seem very professional. The council passed that policy, CP10, that facet. We can't just follow the policies that we want to follow when it's convenient for us.
So I sought advice, and I was told, don't resign if you haven't done anything wrong. And generally in these circumstances, because we were elected after we were serving our term on the Parks Commission, you would be grandfathered in. You don't go retroactive in the rule you created. So, and when CP10 was instituted, there were no guidelines. You know, it didn't say you have to do this by then. So I looked around to what is the thing I should do that is right, rather than, the Parks Commission is not a decision-making body, and that's what I was advised, because I haven't done anything wrong, and in these kind of circumstances, because it's after the fact, we would serve out our term and then not even try to reapply for the commission because of CP10. So that's my understanding.
Yeah, absolutely, and nobody's saying anybody did anything wrong. I personally don't think there's for cause. I don't see it. Unless there, of course, there's things I might not be aware of, but the other, we have, being on council is a huge privilege, and it's a task, it's a badge of honor. That's because I take it that way. And when we're on these commissions, like I'm on Harbor Commission, and even in meetings, we're looked at with, I hate to say authority, but more decision-making power or ability or whatever you want to say, because we're on council. And I would love to see even more of a, because we're serving here. And I'm on Harbor Commission. If it was said, hey, you should get off Harbor Commission and let somebody else come in because you are already in a decision-making body, which a Harbor Commission is just like, it's an advising body, just like Parks. But I know for a fact we have people that are begging to get on the Parks Commission, and the more inclusivity that we have, the broader reach we have, I think it's better for the community. So yeah, I'm not saying anybody has done anything wrong at all. But again, CP10 was voted on and changed, and yeah, is what it is.
I'll just say too, on the parks, when I started on it, we met quarterly for like 20 minutes, and we were trying to get up a tetherball, and Jeff, you're going to attest to that. The Parks Commission has grown and changed, and this last meeting was the first time that we, in many years, have had 7 people. Normally, we have been begging people, and we cannot get people on it. This year, we have 4 brand-new people there's only 3 people that have been on it more than 1 year. And I know the Planning Commission, part of the stability of that is, I think you said that in your report, Mark, that the people have been on it a long time. And I think for the continuity and the projects that we got in place, you know, I'd gladly step away and not run again, but I just think the continuity, then there would be 5 new people on it, and I thought that just isn't the best interest. The Parks Commission worked well with Jeff. They would, Karen Mouw's the chairman now, she's doing a great job. I think we've done some great strides, and I hate to see us, you know, I'm not saying it's step backwards, but I'd like to see the continuity at least for, so, just my
No,
thoughts.
no, I agree, and I see that too, but if I was to step away from the Harbor Commission, I believe in what the Harbor Commission does. I give up my chair on the commission, I can still go to the meetings and participate. People can still go and participate and have their voices heard and show up and volunteer. But, so yes, I agree. I mean, there's that too.
Let's think about it.
Okay, so do I need to do anything since we're not, I can just move forward?
Correct.
Okay, okay, we're just gonna move forward then. Consideration of committee appointments. At this time, the mayor could take action to make various council committee appointments. So council appointments, utilities, Mr. Grabowski, Sands Park, Wesley Smith, Jeff McCullough. Personnel, Ordinance Committee, Kay Keck, Jermaine Sullivan, Julia Raditz, Oil and Gas, Liz Lasky.
Wait, hold up.
Oh, sorry.
Personnel is the manager.
Yeah, I skipped over it.
Oh, okay, sorry. Well,
Did you hear the last one?
what was the last one?
The AA,
Okay, so
AAY,
AAY.
Mr. Grabowski. Audit Committee, Ms. Lasky, Sullivan, Ms. Keck. Local Revenue Sharing Board, Julia Raditz. The RRCA, Laney Rosga. The MRA, Sullivan, and the NRBC, Mr. Grabowski. 911 Authority Board is Chief Glass. Is there a motion to support the appointments?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second that.
Could I have it read back of what I'm on?
Yes. Can we do it right now, or
Sure.
AAY,
Okay,
NRBC, and utilities? Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan. Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
no,
Councilmember Ruzga.
No.
Motion approved.
Thank you. At this time, city manager could take action to make appointments to the council personnel committee.
I'd like to appoint Councilmember Raditz, Mayor Sullivan, and Councilmember Keck.
Is there a motion to support the manager's appointments?
I'll make that motion.
And a second?
I'll second that.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
no.
Councilmember Ruzga.
No.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Now we will have a report from Ms. Heather Peffley on the city clerk's office.
Okay, let me get situated. All right. Okay, I'll try to keep this short since it's been a long evening already. Okay. So 2025 has proven to be a milestone year for the clerk's office. I celebrated 25 years with the city on September 11th. It's hard to believe that I've spent half of my life with the city of Manistee. And I remember my interview with Ben Byfoss, and I said I hope to remain an employee of the city and retire from this job, and I never dreamt that I would end up being the city clerk. It's crazy to think back that long ago. And Laura Lorraine had also a milestone. She had her 8th year of service, so she is now vested, and we actually threw a vesting party for her. We made her cookies and sweater vests and had fun. It was a fun little office thing we did for her, but we try to celebrate that milestone as well. Election inspectors, we have a great number of inspectors, and I hope they all come back this year. It is time for our 2-year certification training this year, which will be held in the summer. And again, I hope everybody comes back. We do have a great group, and I hope we see some new faces this year. Anybody interested in becoming an election inspector can reach out to me, and we'd love to see them be a part of the midterms in 2026. They can reach out to the clerk's office for that. But we love our election inspectors. They are a great group of people, and we couldn't do elections without them. Our office is combined with the finance department, and we work together with Brooke Lee, who started here in May of 2025, Laura McKenzie, and Ed Bradford. We have a wonderful work environment, and it's a pleasure working with all these individuals each and every day. Laura and I complete several training courses each year to keep up with the constant changes in the clerk's profession. If we've learned anything since taking on the roles as clerk and deputy clerk, it's that our most important skill is the ability to adapt. Since we have started, we have had changes from the get-go with elections. It started in 2018, and it has continued every 2 years. So we have had to learn to adjust to these changes within our election system, and a lot of times without a lot of assistance or guidance. We learn to take it on, and these trainings have been crucial for us to just take whatever information we can get, and we pretty much self-train as we go. Our responsibilities haven't changed a lot since our last presentation. I have taken on the role as a recording secretary for the NRBC, and Laura stepped in to assist with the Planning Commission and HDC during the interim period when they didn't have an administrative assistant, but now she's able to step back from that as that department is now fully staffed. She will step in as needed, but that now has been taken off her plate. She has now taken on the duties for liability insurance renewal and coordination and claim submittals. And since then, now the Marina and Lion Pavilion rentals have been turned over to Brooke. So those are just a few changes that we've had. Listed here are the permits that were issued in 2025. We currently have 10 business registrations that are pending. We should be wrapping those up here soon. And we do currently have 1 open recreational retail marijuana license. So we did have 1 close, and we still have that open, so that is available. Just a few highlights from the year. The Compensation Commission met in March. I'm not sure if you recall, they did recommend a 10% increase, and it did not pass by a majority, or did not fail by a majority, I think is how it went. So that will take effect in January of 2027. We did do an amendment to the Chapter 867 for recreational marijuana. That was quite a big rewrite of that, and we also amended the applications for renewals and new licenses, which has made that process go a little bit easier. We successfully completed 2 elections in 2025. And another big change that we did, we made a consolidation for early voting. Early voting in the past, for the first year, we had 3 locations in Manistee County. We are consolidating down to 1 location, and I'll talk about that a little bit further here. So in July, the 15 local clerks in Manistee signed an agreement with the Manistee County Clerk to consolidate early voting into 1 location. In 2024, we saw a very low turnout for early voting. And so it was decided that we would consolidate to 1 location. So anyone in Manistee County who wants to early vote will vote at the Onekama Far Center And we will hold that for the 2 weeks, starting the second Saturday before the election, ending the Sunday before the election for both the August and November election for the midterms. Myself and Laura, the deputy clerk, will be supporting the county clerk with this change. It's going to take us all to work on that, and a lot of the clerks in Manistee County didn't get to work on those elections, so we'll be helping her with that transition. The times will be the same. It'll be 8:30 to 4:30, and we'll see how this goes. We will be working on a mock election in February to kind of test it out and see how it's going to go. But I think it's going to be a good change. It's going to save money, resources for the county, so I hope it goes as well as we are anticipating. This is just a recap of what we did in 2025 for elections. We saw almost a 20% turnout for the May election and a near 25% turnout for November. And then 2026 election timeline, we have a tentative election schedule, which I think it's a good possibility we may have one in May for a special election. And then, of course, the August primary is scheduled for August 4th. And then the November general will be November 3rd. And again, early voting for August will start July 25th and run through August 2nd. And early voting for the November election will start October 24th and run through November 1st. And that is all I have. If you have any questions.
Remember when elections were only one day, Heather?
Oh, my goodness. Now it's a season.
I liked hearing about the changes in your office, you know, people stepping in and stuff. I wouldn't know otherwise.
We have a great office.
Yeah.
We really do. I enjoy going to work every single day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Citizens' comment. This is an opportunity for citizens in attendance to comment on municipal services, activities, or other areas of city involvement, limited to 5 minutes. Letters submitted to council will not be publicly read.
Good evening. Mark Whitliff, 363 10th Street, and Chair of the Planning Commission. I just want to thank council for making our commission whole again, to have 7 members with Bob Slavinsky. And in the past, we've had a very, sometimes tough time getting commissioners or applicants, and now we have, 4 excellent people. So I hope that they go off into other committees that the city has. So thanks again.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Campbell?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Raska?
Well, okay, it's been over a year since we had the purchase agreement with Lakeshore Property Solutions executed. I haven't heard anything regarding the matter, so I guess I have to ask. I will.
So they're finishing up some phase 2 environmental work, so it keeps getting delayed, but yeah, it's been, yeah, keep
So is
hoping.
it still the 100 acres?
It's the 2 properties, yeah, or 3 properties, I'm sorry.
There were 3.
Right. So it's basically it's a 9.5 acre property that's kind of holding up the overall sale.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, I have here's my, so we got an email one day that says you authorized $183,900 for water funding. Didn't they know the pipes were that high up by the airport at the?
So they've insulated, and actually today they finished insulating, but yeah, apparently they didn't have the easement, or they didn't know about the water main, so during the improvements to kind of, I think they can't have obstructions near the landing area or the runways, so yes, that's correct. So we had to protect our asset. We did receive Eagle approval for the upgrade, but it's all through an FAA grant, so we're hoping they'll approve the funding for that project.
Okay. Are we gonna repair that the teen center? I heard that you were up there and you got a lot of electrical problems or something.
Yeah, so they did go and we had the fire marshal take a look at their property. They had a lot of daisy chained extension cords and things like that. I know, our agreement with them, we are to fund with maps any exterior improvements, so they need to kind of update, excuse me, their extension cords, power supplies, and yeah, we give them $18,800 a year. Hopefully they can use some of that funding for their operations and make sure it's a safe environment.
Okay, do they pay the electrical bill up there?
I believe they do. We do, oh, I'm sorry, we do.
Okay. I'm getting calls from the garage, and you probably know who. They're complaining about, your gentleman supervisor here at the city hall, that he gets a tool allowance. Now, when he retires, does he get to keep the tools, or does the city keep them tools? 'Cause we got a lot of tools there.
I believe they're his tools. I don't know if you can.
I think you're referring to Mr. Hanson, the city's facility manager. He is a licensed contractor and he uses all of his own tools when he's working for the city. So a tool allowance is very similar to a car allowance. And when he retires, they're his tools, they're not the city's tools. Just like when you retire with a car allowance, it's your car, not the city's car. So that's in lieu of buying a bunch of tools to have for a maintenance man.
Okay, I've been told this over time and time, so I'm just bringing it out to see what's going on.
It's been that way as long as I can remember.
Okay. That lady up on Maple Street, now, we've got another dumpster. Are we paying for this dumpster again?
You're talking about 820 Maple?
Yeah. Not 820, that'd be on the uneven side of the street, the brown house across the street.
I'm not aware of us paying for a dumpster over there.
There's another one there.
I'll try to chirp in here a little, I should keep my head down. I don't think we've ever paid for a dumpster at that.
I don't know who's paying for it, I just see it.
Yeah, I'm not aware, and Tim Baller has not, we haven't paid for any dumpsters. So at least the police department and code enforcement, looking at his body language, I don't think he has. So I can look into it and give you a more definitive answer, but I know the police department, building official, we wouldn't pay for a dumpster.
I'm just bringing this up because now we got the dumpster there again, and the problem is she isn't hauling anything out, she's a hoarder. And the problem is the neighbors are calling me, and Tim told me, well, it doesn't smell. Well, it's cold outside, so you won't smell, but the backyard is, he said, is full of junk. I mean.
I know he's inspected that, and last he told me was in compliance. The issue is, pardon me, I thought you were talking about the house across the street, so
I know which one you meant.
Last thing Tim told me is that Republic dropped off that dumpster by accident and they need to come pick it up. Whether there's truth to that, I don't know. Let me follow up with him tomorrow and get you to fix it.
Because the neighbors are complaining she's throwing junk in after she comes from work someplace and throws it in there, and she ain't cleaning up the house.
Okay. Well, we can't do anything about the inside of the house, just to be clear. We don't have any ordinances that allow us. Let me get with Tim Ball and see if he can give me an updated report.
Well, what do you do with the smell, Josh? In summer, we had smell, and that's what the ordinance read, and we didn't do nothing for the inside, and that's where the smell was coming from.
The last time I reported, the last time you asked me was a month or so ago, and Tim Ball confirmed with the neighbor that the smell has been mitigated. If there's some information that's changed, I can certainly get him on it. But that was, she got all the cat stuff off the porch in the backyard. So let me get with him to see if there's any updates. But certainly if she has a dumpster, we want her to use it. But if there's
I'm gonna have the neighbors call you because they're.
I think he's very familiar. Let me reconnect those two to make sure if there's some new information that we're aware of it.
Okay.
All right.
Well, the next thing is downtown as Rosemary's. I mean, you got the order to get rid of those things back there. You got a pumpkin on them. I mean, DDA or somebody should be, I mean, after we had that other order to clear that up.
Yeah, so we've been in contact with the city attorney about show cause. So they violated a court order. So I think they could be found in contempt of court at this point.
Good, because I mean, Harbor Village is even complaining when they complain to us, so somebody's got to do something.
That's frustrating. Yep.
Okay, the last thing I'm gonna talk about is on these appointments to committees. Why I vote no is because, I mean, I don't mind being on some of them. 8 years ago, I was appointed to different committees, and I asked them, when are we having meetings? And I was told by City Hall, we'll call you when we need you. What is the sense of having committees if we don't use them? So here I sit again with, and I don't mind being on the AAY. I like the kids up there. I talk to all the people who work there, so I don't have a problem. But, you know, in utilities, I've never been called on a meeting yet. So here we go.
Thank you. Ms. Keck.
I guess I would like to explain why I voted no in that case. Is because I made a request to stay on the committees I was on for continuity. You know, I'm just getting the hang of city council, and it's been a year. So, and I was kind of shocked because I'm really worried about the Sands Park Control Board place. That's it.
Ms. Keck.
I understand that the fire department's been pretty busy around these parts lately, so we appreciate that and all the good words that come with that, so congratulations. Other than that, I think we're good. Thank you for your presentations tonight, too. Very nice. Thank you.
Ms. Raddatz.
Well, first of all, I'm looking forward to our Sleigh Bell Festival coming up. And Bill, I have a question for you and Mayor, perhaps on items to be added to the agenda. Would really to be, how can we have our community engage in See, Click, Fix, rather than coming to me or coming to Chief Glass, you know, so that instead of me telling someone and someone telling someone, using See, Click, Fix, we get a database of items that need attention. It's easily tracked and visible by everyone in the city. It's more transparent. And the more civilians, if you will, that we have accessing that resource, the more they feel that their tax dollars are being put to good use. I would certainly love to see See, Click, Fix, an understanding of what it is, a mention of it if I'm paying for my utilities, a reminder that this is a service we have. I'd love to see how See, Click, Fix can compile information so that then we can plan ahead. If we know that we're getting a lot of See, Click, Fixes about the teen center electrical, for example, you know, then that gives us some scope and sequence about what we can do to prevent and create safer environments. Do you know what I mean? So I would really, really appreciate either an update, a refresher. How can we remind our citizens to utilize that feature? So then everybody on council is getting information. And you seem to be a pretty popular guy, Mr. Grabowski. A lot of people like coming to you to get their stuff taken care of.
Personality.
They bring you their complaints, and I'm not jealous. But I love the idea of those complaints, instead of coming through one city council member, that they are brought to the people who need that information, and then the information is shared back with us about how our department leads are serving our citizenry.
Thank you. Yeah, I can definitely do some education and display. We do things on social media, but
Okay.
we can do reports. So I could do a presentation on it.
Magnets, you tell us how we can, this is a resource, but I think we might be underutilizing it in a way that we can prepare budgets and we can better serve our constituencies.
I can provide some reports, and you're right, it does go right to the people who are going to respond to it. So it's in a very efficient way to do it, rather than going through a council member to the manager to the department. It goes to the people who are going to fix it first, and then it gets escalated.
I agree. And that, when it's through people, that complaint gets lost over time. You know what I mean? We don't get to harvest the piece of information that allows us to make better decisions with our finances in the future.
Yep, that's a good point. So yeah, I can give those reports, and I know we're going to be discussing budget priorities. I can provide a report that can help show, hey, this is what people are reporting to us, and take that into consideration when talking about your priority maybe.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Is it anonymous, completely anonymous?
You can make it anonymous.
Can be,
You can choose
okay.
not to, so. there's options.
And I tell them they need to go on Click and Fix, but a lot of them say they can't get on it.
Well, see, that's the feedback we need, like, about how to make it more accessible. And if there needs to be a little road show about, like, this is where you go, this, or, you know, I know someone who goes to the senior center. It's you, to do a presentation about about how to do it.
Maybe at the
Thank you.
Ramsdale too.
Yeah, maybe it's Ramsdale, but not the senior center.
I think this calls for a QR code,
Oh,
the mailing or even online. I think that's a pretty neat way to do it. Two quick things. Yep, stole a little bit of thunder. Sleigh bell, DPW, fire, police, everybody else that's volunteering. Cannot wait to see everybody this weekend. It's gonna be a white one. Hopefully it's not too windy, but it definitely will be snowy. And again, I'd be remiss after Heather's report, again, congratulations on 25 years. You are not allowed to retire because you are the glue that holds this show together. You and your office. So thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Ms. Lasky.
Just going to mention that audit finance, because I think Ed does a great job. It's nothing about Ed, it's just keeping, I think, the council more informed. The numbers are on the consent agenda, so we don't really discuss them, and just having a finance committee. We have a lot of committees, and Jimmy, you were mentioning some of them don't even meet. That one would be a very worthwhile one to just think about, but have it meet monthly and just have an opportunity to go over the numbers and have Ed, you know, share the numbers and train, which he is available to do, but it would be neat to have a monthly meeting. Second thing is the Granicus report. We pay for that monthly, and whether it was just a little sent out in like a monthly update for us or whatever, I don't know. I haven't seen that many numbers from the report, so I thought before budget season, we might want to address that.
157 it's gone down to. I got your answer. So now we're advertising 157 and tracking 157 short-term rentals. So our numbers have gone down
In the short-term
in
rentals.
the short-term rentals.
And the licensing is due, right, 12/31?
Yep, applications are due 12/31. We're processing as we speak. We're working through the 3 ordinances that you have to refer to get all your answers. There could be some potential changes that will be requested here in the near future, just to make it a little better.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
So I just have two things. Mr. Smith likes to copy off my paper. I did have a QR code. They're really inexpensive. We could maybe stick that on the water bill for the C-Click fix. And then I just want to remind everybody that there is a joint work session next Tuesday at 5:30. So I will take a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.